Yo, what's up, people? So right now it is 5 a.m. in the morning. I woke up at 4:30. Today is 1st of March 2020. So I want to talk to you guys about how I was able to adjust my bio clock to early morning instead of staying up around midnight and till the next day. So I'll break down this video in a few parts. So I'll tell about the effects of staying out throughout the night. So the consequences of not being able to sleep early and not being able to wake up early. I'll give you some reasons why you are doing that and why you just can't stop doing that. I'll also give you fixes, techniques, ways you can go about trying to adjust your bio clock. But the sequence is not the same, right? So I'll start with the fix first, and then I'll tell about the reasons why you're doing it, and then I'll tell about the consequences. Because you guys are here for the fix, right? So I want to give you the fix right away. So fix number one, this is actually what you expect. So it turns out the average human circadian rhythm for a day is actually not 24 hours, it's 24 hours and 15 minutes. Now there's an average. So for you, it may be longer or later. But what I suggest you to do is just follow the average. So suppose you want to sleep at 9 p.m. on the previous day, but you are unable to sleep at 9, you're only able to sleep at 3 a.m. the next day. So the difference in those two timings are 6 hours before and 18 hours after. So there are two things you can do, right? One thing is you follow your daily circadian rhythm, your average circadian rhythm, and push it back by 15 minutes every single day. So the next day you will sleep at 3:15, and then 2 days later you sleep at 3:30, and then so on and so forth. Or you can just extend the window just a little bit. You sleep 3:30 the next day, 4 a.m. the next day after the next day, and then 4:30 3 days later. Right, those are the fixes if you want to push forward. So the problem with this fix is that it usually takes longer for you to readjust because the bringing forward is usually longer than just taking it back, right? Because by taking it back, you're taking it back by 6 hours, but you want to push forward, you're pushing it by 18 hours, which is like 3 times. But for some of us, it's actually easier to push forward. So for example, you're supposed to sleep at 9 a.m. but you are actually only sleeping at 10. You're supposed to sleep at 9 p.m. but you're sleeping at 10 a.m. the next day. So actually the bring back is 13 hours, but the push forward is 11 hours. So it depends on your bring back and push forward timing differences. So if your push forward is less than your bring backwards, do the push forward technique. So you stay up half an hour later every single day until you're able to readjust if you want to do the push forward. And if you want to do the bring backwards, so you sleep earlier by half an hour every day. So it depends on your time differential between when you want to wake up and when you are waking up now, on average. Now the bring forward technique usually has one more implication, one more consequence is you're gonna end up sleeping at very odd timings in the day if you bring forward. So going back to the example of sleeping at 3 a.m. So on day, suppose you push by 30 minutes every day. So on day 12, right? Day 12 there's 6 hours. So you end up sleeping at 9 every day. And then on day 20 you're gonna end up sleeping at 12 noon every day. So obviously sleeping at those odd hours is going to give you a lot of inconvenience because then you're just basically taking out the entire day to sleep, and then you wake up in very odd hours in the evening. So there's another implication of bringing it forward. So I suggest if you're not like sleeping at an already ridiculous time like 10 a.m. in the morning, you should just bring backwards. Sleep early 30 minutes every day, or 1 hour every day if you can, but I recommend 30 minutes. So then what happens if you sleep 30 minutes early every day is, suppose you are sleeping at 3 a.m. every day and you want to sleep at 9 p.m. every day, then by sleeping 30 minutes early every day in 12 days, you will be able to sleep at your desired time. And 12 days, not even 2 weeks, right? So actually it's decently fast. Now another technique I would like to bring to you is, if you want to do it fast, right? So you don't want to wait 12 days, you want it done in like 4 days, you want it done in 6 days. A faster technique is to just stay up, but not in the way they're doing it now. So now what you're doing is, you do an overnight or a throughout the day thing. I don't recommend you to do that because it is actually really harmful for your body. So what I recommend you to do is, first know your sleep cycle. So how long is one sleep cycle? For the average person, it's about 1 hour and 30 minutes, about 90 minutes, somewhere there. And then what you do is, you don't pull an all-nighter. Suppose you sleep at 3 a.m. and you want to pull an all-nighter. Don't do that. So what you do is, from 3 a.m. you don't sleep until about 9 a.m. and then you only sleep about 2 to 3 sleep cycles. So you're not fully rested, but you're somewhat rested. And then you wake up at like 12 noon or 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. And then from 1:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. in which you want to sleep, you don't ever sleep again. So until 9 p.m. you don't sleep. So the entire day you're not completely unrested, you're only half rested. But it is a lot better than completely unrested, because it's really difficult to hold on, and sometimes you just give up and then you end up sleeping at like 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and then you're just screwing yourself even worse. So instead of pulling an all-nighter, just do a half rest day. So you sleep only a few sleep cycles. So suppose you sleep 6 sleep cycles, you only sleep 3, and you have the other 3 on the shelf, so when it's your desired time to sleep, you are tired enough to go to sleep again. And then you just keep doing this until you no longer need the 3 half rest cycle in the midday. So on day 1 you have 3 sleep cycles in between, and maybe on day 2 you only need 2 in between, maybe on day 3 you only need 1 in between, or on day 6 you only need 1 in between. So that's how you slowly adjust back to your desired timing. Actually, those are really good techniques, but the most powerful technique that I just found out by accident is staying up, yes, but I realized that sunlight has a very great effect on keeping me awake, especially the morning sun. And I'm not talking about like when it's fully bright, I'm talking about when it's just a little bit blue, like breaking dawn. That's when you want to be up and not asleep, because somewhat the blue light or whatever light the sunlight does, it triggers your circadian rhythm, your circadian response, to tell that it is morning time and you need to stay awake. So if you sleep at 3 a.m. you're gonna miss the trigger, you're gonna miss the stimulus. But if you stay up at 7, you'll find out that actually if you just get yourself outside and not quarantine yourself in the room and take some sunlight, you actually wouldn't feel that tired. You will still feel tired, but not as tired as putting yourself in a room and trying to hold on and trying to push for not sleeping. So that's another technique I found. So combining these 3 techniques, I was able to go from sleeping at 8 a.m. every day. So throughout the night, I sleep at 8 and I wake up in 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon. From that to being able to wake up at 4:30 a.m. every day and sleep at 8:30 p.m. every day. In just less than 1 week. So less than 1 week ago, I was sleeping at 8 a.m. every day. But now I'm sleeping at 8 p.m. every day. So it's a 12-hour shift. It's an almost 12-hour shift. but I was able to complete it in like 5 or 6 days, combining with these 3 techniques. So first, I'm giving a summary. First, you should think about whether you want to push forward or push back, depending on your time difference and depending on, whether you want to sleep at really all hours in the day, which may affect your daily life, right? If you are employed or if you are going to school, the push forward may not be feasible. Number 2 is, don't put it all-nighter, put it half-nighted. So you get yourself half rested throughout the day, but not fully rested, and you leave the other half until the desired timing of sleep. And you slowly adjust this, you slowly shave off the half rest day to a quarter rest day to an 8th rest day, and soon enough you don't need to rest in the middle of the day. You just rest at your desired timing when you go to sleep. And the last technique is to stay up at the time when the sun comes up. So when the sun comes up, it's going to reset your circadian rhythm. It's going to tell you it's the morning, and your body wouldn't feel the need to sleep that much as if you are in your room and you're trying to put yourself in an enclosure and not get sunlight. So get sunlight, get out, go into nature, go into the sun. Don't stay inside when you're sleepy. Go outside, sit somewhere, get sunlight. So those are 3 techniques you can use in combination to help readjust your sleep timing. Now, so after I tell you about the techniques, so let me tell about the consequences of, reasons of why you're staying up so late. And then I think the video is getting a little bit long, so I will tell you about the reasons why you have been staying up so late or staying up at undesirable timings and unable to make the change. So the reasons I'll cover in another video, and the consequences of staying up at undesired hours, I'll do it in another video also. So see you guys then.